Okay, so we're looking at the photographic tools for dodge, burn, and sponge. So from the active learning, you will have learned that these are very common photographic tools. Even before digital, photographers would dodge and burn images to create darker and lighter areas. So digitally, we have much more control. So we're going to start with the burn tool, and I'm going to just make a duplicate of this background so that we can actually compare the before and after. And with the burn tool selected, you can choose whether you want to burn the shadows, in other words the darker parts of the image, the mid-tones, the middle tones, or the highlights, the lighter parts of the image. And the exposure value is obviously how much do you want to burn it. It's quite strong, so put the value down to begin with. I'm going to put it down to 15, and also zoom in really close. So I'm going to go into one of her eyes, and with the burn tool, just make sure it's the burn, yeah, you want to have a smaller brush, and then a typical use for the burn tool is to strengthen eyelashes, to make them thicker and darker. So I'm just going along here. Sometimes you might say, well, nothing's happening, but actually it is. It's only when you do a before and after that you notice how much has actually changed. So I'm just going around here darkening her lashes, also the pupil of her eye, and some of the sort of detail and speckles in her iris of her eye. And then also don't forget the bottom eyelashes. Okay, and then I'll move across the other eye, do the same thing. Okay, so we're just darkening eyelashes. You can see sometimes it spills over and it darkens around there as well. That's you just have to maybe take a bit more care if it's becoming a problem, because it's reading certain pixels as shadows as well. So you just have to be careful of that. Most of the time you don't need to get too hassled about it, because the overall effect will be good. Alright, so those are her eyes. So let me just zoom out, and I'm just going to hide and show that layer. Can you see quite a huge difference? Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make the brush a lot bigger, and I'm just going to brush over her hair, maybe with a bit of a stronger exposure, say about 40, and you can see it just kind of highlights the strands of her hair, makes it more prominent. Okay, so that's the the burn tool. Now let's switch to the dodge tool, which does the opposite. It lightens pixels, but also based on shadows, highlights, and midtones. So I'm going to leave it on highlights, and with a bigger brush, I'm just going to, and the exposure maybe a bit higher, maybe 20. Just going to brush over, and you can see it gives her hair kind of a sheen. And then I'm going to, with a smaller brush, just go over her bottom lip and her top lip, which kind of gives them much more of a wet metallic look. So if I hide and show now, you can see that it's quite a dramatic difference. And the third one, which is the sponge tool, I can't do on a black and white image. So the dodge and burn tools are not limited to black and white. You can do them on a color image. So just the same here, if I go to burn and bring the value down, I can burn some of the detail here darker. Just be careful of burning her eyebrows. That can sometimes look very fake. Okay, and then dodging. Just be careful with dodging. A lot of people use dodging for whitening of teeth and for whitening of eyes. Be very careful with that. You do not want Tippex teeth or zombie eyes. So make sure that you put your value right down, maybe even just to 2. And that can just clean up the whites of her eyes without making her look like a zombie. Okay, and let's do the hair again. So, okay, what I forgot to do was to make a duplicate, but that's fine. This is just to show you on a color photo. So we're burning the shadows in her hair. We're bringing in some detail there, and then I'll switch to dodge, and let's take the value up a bit, and bring out some, whoa, that's way too aggressive. Let's take it down to 15. Okay. Okay, and then the third one is the sponge tool, and this tool is often used to give people a bit of color. So if you've got a fair skin like this girl and you want it just to have a little bit of a more kind of sun-kissed complexion, you can use the sponge tool on saturate. So saturate adds saturation, desaturate does the opposite. If you put vibrance on, and you should, it protects it from getting overcooked. So what you don't want is a sort of tandoori chicken tan, or like a spray-on tan look. So what you want is to put vibrance on, put the value quite low, so I'll put it on 20, and then just with a big soft brush, just brush around her skin. Okay, so if we do a revert, so file revert, that's before and that's after. Okay, so I've probably overdone it, but you get the idea. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and see you next time.